Hello friends, I'm here today to share with you another day of Bookmas. Today is going to be my November wrap-up. Originally I wasn't going to do a November wrap-up. I was just going to kind of plan to do a end of year wrap-up. But November turned out to be my best month of the year numbers-wise for reading. So I'm going to go ahead and share them. I don't feel like doing a lot of editing to this, probably just cutting out my rambling parts. So I'm going to hold up the covers on my phone. So that's just how we're going to do it. Starting off the month, I read Grip by Kennedy Ryan. I am not gonna lie, this one was a rough start for me. I almost DNF'd it. The two characters were just so frustrating after the novella. But the reason I ultimately gave it 5 stars is because throughout the romance, throughout the process of them getting together for the romance, I could really tell that they were growing as people individually, and then it was all the frustrations that I had with their characters. It was shown that there was the growth before, while they were getting together, and I really liked that. I really thought that was great, so I gave this one 5 stars. Next up, I listened to My Fake Fiance by Piper Rain. I gave this one 3 stars. It was good, and I think it had a lot of potential, but the pacing was off for me because this is about, they're in a small town in Alaska. The main female character owns or runs like a bed and breakfast thing. And over the course of like 3 years, the guy, when he's in town, comes and stays at their bed and breakfast. And then one day randomly, after several years of him coming in off and on, like every 3 or 4 months or so, he asked her to pretend to be engaged to him, because his parents don't get along with his grandma, and he wants to try to bridge that gap between them. And yeah, it was just really off. The pacing was just really off for me. I wish I had seen a little bit more of that buildup of over the years. And I maybe would have believed it a little bit more, that as fast as they went from pretending to be engaged to really liking each other was a natural progression. After that was Intention by Ava Harrison. I got this as an endometriosis rep. It was during the Chronically Courageous book club. I think Tori mentioned it. I think that's where this recommendation came from. And as far as endometriosis rep, yes, fabulous. A+, would definitely recommend. As far as a workplace enemies to lovers, no. They start sleeping together. It's a whole thing. Yeah, it wasn't the best romance, but it was really good endometriosis rep. After that was Flipped by Wendy Dalrymple. I found this as like a shorter audiobook to read on Scribd. It's a house flipping novella. The main character is she's going to try to buy back this family home that had to be sold. I think it was her grandparents or maybe her great-grandparents had to sell it due to financial issues, and she has a house flipping business, but she wants to buy this and turn it around for herself. But she gets beat out by this guy who is the face of a home renovation house flipping show on TV. But then he ultimately asks for her help, because she knows the area, knows the history, so she can help restore the home. And I thought this was good. I gave it 3 stars. It was pretty bland. Maybe not bland. There wasn't much substance to it. The only characteristics about the characters that we knew was that they liked this house and that they flipped houses, and I think she might have been a realtor too. I forget exactly what it was she did. But yeah, there wasn't much substance to either of the characters, and so there wasn't much substance to their relationship. Then I read Still by Kennedy Ryan, and I had my heart broken. I gave it 5 stars. The growth that I liked about the characters in the last one was really tested in this one, but I feel like they still stuck true to themselves and to the relationship. I'm trying to figure out how I want to word this. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 5 stars. It is heartbreaking. Yeah. After that, I read Broken Whispers by Neva Altaj. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's a kind of an arranged marriage, but kind of more turns into a marriage of convenience. The main female character is kind of sold by her father. She used to be a prima ballerina, but due to, I think it was injury, she can't really dance professionally anymore. So her father sends her to be the wife of the kind of enforcer of the mafia family that like this series centers around. But instead of going in as kind of his spy, she decides that she doesn't like, she wants to turn against her father instead of helping him, especially when she meets her husband and his daughter that she didn't know about before the wedding, and kind of sees maybe she's gotten the wrong impression of this other family. After that, I read The Enemy Trap by Marin Moore. So I gave this book 4 stars. But now I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. And I don't remember why they were fake dating. Why they didn't like each other. But I know that they have a, like, they're fake dating already, and then they have like a one night stand where they sleep together, and then she winds up pregnant. I no, maybe they weren't. I think they had a one night stand first, and she got pregnant, and then had like, because she was living in his house. He's a professional hockey player. I think because she was living in his house, his agent wanted them to fake date. I don't really remember this book. But I remember that I didn't like after she was pregnant, or like because she was pregnant, it kind of skipped from pregnancy milestone to pregnancy milestone to pregnancy milestone instead of seeing a like continuous progression of their relationship. I do remember that. Finally, a book that I own, I read Wild Distortion by Tina Saxon. I gave this one 3 stars. This, for having such a good cover, was not my cup of tea. So this is about an NFL player who is suspended, and his team or his coach or whoever tells him that he is going to go to this little island, Fiji, I think. Could be wrong. He's told to go to this little island and take his suspension, like spend his suspension there, and not get in trouble and not sleep with women and all this. But problem number 1 I had was that he took the fall for a teammate, and he even like, he says the coach knew that he was taking the fall for the teammate. So why is the coach so worried about this for the first time that he's apparently been in trouble with the team? It's gonna send him to some island. That was my first problem. Well, while he's at that, he meets this woman. She's very like mysterious, very secretive, but not on purpose. It's just kind of the way she was raised. And they spend a lot of time together. They start hooking up. He goes back to, I think it was New York, where he lived, and then sends her a plane ticket to come with him, to come meet him there. So she goes to New York and starts spending time in his world. And then there, spoiler alert until I put the book down, because I don't think I can talk about the rest of the, I don't think I can talk about my feelings without telling you the rest of the book. So, so we find out that she is the long lost, perceived dead daughter of an American president from when she was a baby. And then it kind of turns into this weird, like, almost women's fiction-y, like reuniting with her family and being apart from him. And I don't know what the book was supposed to be. If it was supposed to be a romance, then why was all of the meeting the family stuff necessary, I guess? And if it was supposed to be a women's fiction, why was all the romance in it? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna put the book down because that's kind of the end of the spoilers. But yeah, I just don't think this was for me. I could never quite wrap my head around what was going on. So I gave that one 3 stars. Beautiful cover though. Probably keeping it just for the cover and because it's signed by Wander and it has really good memories attached to it from the signing. But for the book. After that, I read Fractured Sky by Catherine Cowles. This is the newest in her Tattered and Torn series. I believe it's the final one in the Tattered and Torn series. This is finally Shiloh and Ramsey. Without giving too much away about this book, I'm sure you read it, but just in case, I loved this. I gave it 5 stars. It was two characters who had been really broken down by life, coming together and supporting each other and figuring out that they on their own can handle more than they think they can. Yeah, I really, really loved this. I gave it 5 stars. After that, I listened to My Brother's Forbidden Friend by Piper Rain. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's in that same series as the My Fake Fiancé, set in the small Alaskan town. This is the baby sister of that girl's, like, what's the blended family? And she has a crush on her older brother's best friend who was kind of there for her after their mom passed. And I gave it 4 stars. It's pretty much exactly what it sounds like, except that they made such a big deal about her brother caring about that they were together. And I don't feel like the brother's reaction really warranted them being that worried about it. So I gave it 4 stars. Another short little novella that I found on Scribd is Along for the Ride by Rachel Bowdler. I gave this one 3 stars. It was pretty cute. It's about a woman in England who she's trying to start this like coffee table book project. That's how I meant to say that. And then one of the random people she takes a picture of is a guy getting on his motorcycle. And then she kind of like flags him down because she wants to input a little bit of the person's story when she puts their picture in. And he convinces her somehow to get on the back of his bike and go on a European road trip. So she can like take the pictures and stuff. And I gave it 3 stars. It was pretty cute. I enjoyed their romance. It was a novella, so it was pretty fast paced. And I really enjoyed the setting of the European road trip. Kind of wish they'd gone to more places. Kind of built up the tension a little bit more, but I did give it 3 stars. It was pretty good. After that, I read Kiss and Don't Tell by Megan Quinn. This is about a woman who ends up, like, due to her car breaking down, she ends up at the vacation cabin of a group of professional hockey players. They convince her to stay because it's not safe for her to go back to her car, and she falls for one of them. Turns out it's her ex that she just broke up with, or that just broke up with hers half brother. They like just kind of recently as adults found out that they had a half brother. I gave this 4 stars. I thought it was good. I kind of thought that they were going to know the connection like going into meeting each other, kind of letting that be a little bit of a tension between them, but it was used as a breakup instead. So, I mean, that's not really what I wanted, but it was good. After that, I read Flawless by Elsie Silver. I gave this one 5 stars. I love a celebrity, like, out of control, needs a handler trope. It always seems to work for me, and this was no exception. I really liked that even though he was her job, he really, how do I say this? Like, he went out of his way to get her to see him as more than that, to get their relationship to be more than that. I really loved this. Then I read this Christmas novella series from Will and Nash, Stephanie Perry. First one is The Naughty, the Nice, and the Nanny. This is exactly what it sounds like. Single dad needs a nanny. It ends up being this girl that I don't remember, one of his brothers went to school with, maybe. But yeah, I give this one 4 stars. Next was 3 Bells, 2 Bows, and 1 Brother's Best Friend. I gave this one 3 stars. It kind of frustrated me. The whole, like, the love interest trying to keep the brother from finding out. I think it was a bit much in this one for me. And then A Partridge and a Pregnancy. This one is a second chance. They have like a one night reconciliation and then go their separate ways, and she winds up pregnant, and she's about to move to London for her work, and I was so worried that she was going to stay. I'm not gonna lie, so worried that she was gonna stay. And then probably should have spoiler alerted that. But he goes with her, and I really loved that, so I gave this one 4 stars. Then I read A Cosmic Kind of Love by Samantha Young. I gave this one 3 stars. I was super excited about this because the back of it made me think that he was going to be in the space station and she was going to be on Earth and had somehow received his videos for this other woman. But what's happening is she's planning his ex's wedding. She's a wedding planner. She's planning his ex's engagement party or wedding or something. And the ex like sends her whole like Google Drive or something. And she finds the videos that have been saved on there and sees them, but they're from like months before. So now he's back, and before she knows that he's back, she's sending these videos to the email address where those other videos were coming from. So it's somebody in like NASA who's getting these emails and asking him what to do with them. And at first he's like, oh, about them back. But then he starts getting them forwarded to him. And she doesn't know that he's watching it. She thinks they're just coming back unread or unseen or whatever. So I didn't love that. I really wished that, this is going to sound bad, I really wish he'd have been in space for the buildup of their relationship. But yeah, I gave this some 3 stars. Then I read the Madigan Mountain series. I have a vlog on those, so I'm not going to talk too much about that because I'm already still kind of frustrated that the footage for that one was lost. First one was a little too late. I gave 5 stars. Second was a little too close. I gave 5 stars. And finally, A Little Too Wild. I gave 4 stars. Then I read A Cross Country Christmas by Courtney Walsh. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's a super cute Christmas romance. They're traveling from Southern California to Illinois. I don't remember exactly where they're traveling to, but it's basically, I don't think it's ever said, but it kind of felt to me like it was the Route 66 like highway. And she's dreading going home for the holidays because she has some really bad family memories tied to the holidays. And he's got really good ones, but it's a kind of a bittersweet trip for him because his grandpa's like not doing well. So they butt heads a little bit with her wanting to get the trip over with and him wanting to do a much more spontaneous road trip. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. Then I read Love Light Farms. And in the minority here, I gave this one 3 stars. But in defense of the book, it's a friends to lovers. And that's not really my thing. So I just kind of felt really meh about everything. I thought it was cute that the main character owned a Christmas tree farm. I thought it was a great setup that she said she owned, like, to win a contest from an influencer. She said she owns it with her boyfriend. I thought that was a great setup for a fake dating, but it was a friends to lovers, and it was just kind of alright for me. And finally, I read 'Tis the Season for Revenge by Morgan Elizabeth. This is a very, very good Christmas romance. I gave it 5 stars. So at the beginning, it's kind of Legally Blonde inspired. At the beginning, the main character's boyfriend breaks up with her on Halloween, and in a very alcohol-induced decision, she decides to try to date his boss. They like matched on a dating app. She decides to date his boss to score an invite to the holiday party that she always wanted to go to, that she thought he was going to propose at. And yeah, she starts going on dates with the boss and ends up really liking him. And yeah, I loved this. I loved both of the characters. I loved how herself she was. And I really liked how when she had those insecure moments from the emotional abuse of her past relationship, he was always there to be like, whoa, no, that's not you. You are this like strong, sexy woman who can do like whatever you want to do. And I loved it. I loved it a lot. So I give this one 5 stars. I don't know if I said that. So that is my November wrap up. Have you read any of these books? Let me know what you thought down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!